Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going deep, really deep, into a book that's considered a classic for a reason.
That's right. We're diving into Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
And I have to say, I'm really excited about this one. Frankl's insights into finding meaning, even in the darkest of times, well, it's something I think we can all, relate to on some level. And I know our listeners are really interested in the practical side of this. Like, how can we actually apply these big ideas to our own lives, today?
And that's the beauty of Frankl's work. Even though it's rooted in his experience in concentration camps during the Holocaust, the lessons he takes away are surprisingly universal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we should acknowledge that historical context right up front. It's heavy stuff, but ultimately Frankl's message is about the human spirit's ability to find meaning in any circumstance, and that's something that can empower all of us.
Right. And I think it's important to remember that we're not trying to minimize the horrors he endured, but rather we're looking at how he emerged from that experience with this profound understanding of what it means to live a meaningful life.
Exactly. And one of the core ideas he talks about is this concept of logotherapy.
Essentially, his own school of thought.
Right. And the big takeaway, at least for me, is that it's not about avoiding suffering because, well, life's going to throw curveballs. It's about finding meaning within that suffering.
He actually observed this firsthand in the camps. He noticed that the people who were able to hold on to some sense of meaning, even something small, tended to fare better.
Wow. Okay, so what kind of meaning? In that situation, it's hard to even imagine.
It could be anything, really. It
Yeah.
could be clinging to the memory of a loved one, a belief they held dear, or even a task they felt compelled to complete. It wasn't about pretending things were okay. It was about finding a reason to keep going.
So it's that idea, like, we can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it.
Exactly. And Frankl actually gives this really powerful example of how to put this into practice. Imagine you're facing a really difficult situation. Instead of letting yourself get totally overwhelmed, he suggests you pause and ask yourself, what's the meaning here? What can I learn from this?
It's such a simple question, but I can see how it could be so powerful. It's like you're shifting your perspective.
Exactly. You go from feeling like a victim to becoming an active participant in your own life.
Okay, that's huge. I'm like already seeing how this applies to me. And I know our listeners are too. Think about a recent challenge you faced. Could asking that question have changed how you approached it?
And this ties into another one of Frankl's key ideas, the importance of having a higher purpose, something larger than ourselves that gives us that sense of why.
Okay, so like what does that look like practically?
Well, it could be anything that truly resonates with you. Contributing to your community, pursuing a creative passion, working towards a more just world, whatever it is that gives you a sense of purpose.
Right, and it's not about, these grand sweeping gestures. It's about those small everyday actions that can add up to something bigger.
And he talks about how important it is to be present in those moments, to really savor them.
So like mindfulness?
Exactly. Because if we're constantly dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, we miss out on the power of the present moment.
It's so easy to fall into that trap though, isn't it? I know I do it all the time. But when you put it like that, it makes so much sense. Okay, so for our listeners who, like me, sometimes struggle with staying present, what's like one tangible thing they can do today?
Well, why not try this? Choose one simple activity and really focus on experiencing it fully. It could be as simple as drinking a cup of coffee or going for a walk. Really pay attention to the sights, the sounds, the smells. You might be surprised by how much richer that experience becomes.
That's such a good point. It's like we're so used to rushing through life that we forget to actually, live it.
And this leads us to what I think is one of Frankl's most powerful ideas. He says that meaning isn't something we find, it's something we create.
Whoa. So it's not about searching for some big predetermined purpose. It's about actively making our lives meaningful.
Exactly.
And wow, that's really empowering.
It is, isn't it?
Hmm.
Because it means that no matter what our circumstances are, we always have the power to create meaning in our lives.
That's such a powerful message. It's easy to forget when you're bogged down in the day-to-day, but remembering that you have the power to make your life meaningful, well, that's huge.
It is. And it's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit.
And to Frankl's incredible ability to find hope and meaning in the darkest of times. It's a powerful reminder that no matter what challenges we face, we always have a choice in how we respond. And that choosing to find meaning, even when it's hard, that's what makes life worth living.
Beautifully said.
Well, on that note, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about. And speaking of thinking, we have one final thought to leave you with. if you had to ask yourself, what gives my life meaning right now? Okay, what would your answer be? Let that question guide your own exploration of meaning.
It's a question worth asking ourselves every single day.
It really is. So until next time, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.